Make it look like it's part of the show, you idiot. We didn't fuck up. This was intentional.
Yeah.
Also, that fucking outfit, man. Wow.
Yeah.
I haven't seen something like that since My Dress Up Darling. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Lessons, and we are here for the very first episode of Macross Frontier. And if you're joining us for the first time, this is part of a watch series that we're doing for the entirety of Macross. We started with Macross 0, we did SDF Macross, we then went to Macross Plus, then we lastly finished Macross 7, movies included, and extras as we understand them. So, if you're wondering why we know what we know, this has been part of a journey. Speaking of that journey, first thing I have is comments from YouTube, which are still way back in the Macross Plus days. So, let's go through those real quick. Oleb23 says, my one trivia drop from Macross Plus. In the dub, Isamu is voiced by Bryan Cranston before he became a successful live-action actor.
That is very true. And also he appeared in another series that we both like, Babylon 5, in one episode. But I think
the other channel that I watch that reacts to specifically Babylon 5 just did that episode.
Yes, but Cranston doesn't seem to be a fan of sci-fi. He prefers comedy or serious action. He does not seem to be a fan of sci-fi. At least he doesn't seem to remember fondly his time in Babylon 5. But then again, it's just one episode, so yeah. You know, even though it was pretty impactful for the viewers, but still.
All right. Sorry, this one comment translate. RYO says the director asked the U.S. military to let him ride in a fighter jet for the film. The 5-second scene in which the YF-21 evades the missiles used 116 cells and is said to be the legendary 5 seconds.
Yeah, there was another comment somewhere else, we might get to it, was correcting me saying that there's no CGI. There's some CGI, but not in the main sequences of animation. Clearly, in the concerts and stuff like that, we do see CGI, but you know, deliberately so, because it's supposed to be an artificial construct.
Right. Okay, next up we got AQRXV. I don't know how you would pronounce that, so I'm just spelling it out. Interestingly, the Macross Plus OV, sorry, this might be translation OAV.
Yay? Yeah.
Well, no, OVA would be how it normally is. This might just be the translation. I don't know if this is coming across from the Google Translate automatically thing. Came out about the same time as the Orgus 2 OVA, both being belated sequels to classic mecha series of the 80s. In that case, Super Dimensional Century Orgus. Orgus and Macross shared some of the staff, and the same was true of the sequel series. Orgus 02 is especially worth watching for the killer OP by the famed German composer Torsten Rauch. Impressive show with a lovely haunting soundtrack. Yes, you're correct. The prototype contest in the series, partially inspired by the real-world testing and selection contest between the competing Lockheed YF-22 Raptor and the Northrop YF-23 Black Widow prototypes for the USAF, which was going on in the 90s at the same time as the anime was made, the prior series being a love affair to the F-14 Tomcat.
Yep. No notes there.
My favorite comments are the ones you have no notes on because the low energy. Yep. Because it always seems like the things you have the most to talk about are the actual plane models and everything, because it's like your passion from a childhood thing. But then when we have a really in-depth comment from somebody who seems as much as the fandom as you, yep, that's it. 100% right. All right. Elios Quadruple Zero says Gould is 1/2 Centrati, which is why he's green. Plus came out in 1994 along with 7. This year is the 30th anniversary. First time seeing a VF that's not the VF1 or VF4. This is the VF11 Thunderbolt 3. It was an intrusive thought, but the BDI system acted on it, which is not good. It should only act direct thought inputs. Sorry, this is one of those where I'm assuming it was translated and it's not coming out as good. Just make you feel better. Gould did not anyone. He did attack and assault Myung, but there was no Since I know you guys have watched this by now, Gould caught Myung with Isamu and went in a Zentradi rage. Myung tried to stop him, but got caught in the middle. Huh. A Zentradi rage, you say? As though it's a species-specific thing one might have to take drugs for.
Yes.
Maybe Myung was a proto-Devlin. That's really fucking up Gould all the time.
Please, no. Myung, I mean, we discussed that, and when you get to that episode, you will see that episode. You've probably already seen it if you're watching this one. So, congratulations. Although that's nothing to be congratulated for, except that we appreciate your viewership. But
and your taste in music.
Yes. The thing is, and I do we've talked about this. We had a little problem with like, yes, we've shown the Zentradi can be violent in the past, and that was a big thing about the last 6 episodes of the original series. But at the same time, it was never classified as a genetic trait, which is kind of like, oh no, they're built differently, and yes, there are aliens who are prone to violence. So, yeah, that's a thing.
I don't know. It's a question of nature versus nurture, and one goes unanswered in that they're just seem to be naturally aggressive. And you can say, oh, it's because they grew up in a warrior society, but we have no study on that in that show. And in this one, just we don't examine it again and just say, oh, it is nature. They are genetically that way, thus explaining all the past actions that we think are problematic as a genetic condition, and thus you'd be feeling wrong to be blaming them for specifically. It's a treatable condition instead of being a choice.
Yes. There's also the fact that he was young at the time. It's complicated in a good way, in that the show goes like, this is what happens. These things are not clear cut. And I always go back to that scene when he looks up in the mirror in horror and goes like, what have I done? Right. So it plays with the nature nurture kind of thing, right? With it, he also wants to say he has a protective nature. He certainly wants to protect Myun, right? Turns out that he's Myun's kind of worst enemy. He's willing to die for her, but at the same time,
He did save her life.
Yeah.
All right. This one is more of a generic comment because I've heard it a lot. Plus, this time the translator has eliminated your name. So, for this specific one, just remember, do you remember love is canon? Which I have responded to 1,000 times over. It's mixed canon.
Yes.
It's not 100% canon because past things are proven to be true and are mixed with this. So, I think the example we came up with at the end of Macross 7 was that Exodol still looks like Do You Remember Love, but parts of Max and Amelia's backstory are true from before the movie, so mixed canon.
Yeah, I mean, what I think when we talk about canon here is that stylistically, Do You Remember Love has had a tremendous influence on everything that happened afterwards, right? The look of it. But when it comes to other like narrative elements and character elements and plot points, yeah, those are far more mixed and far more heavily weighted in favor of what happened in SCF Macross than what happened in Do You Remember Love.
I'm just satisfied with saying it's mixed canon and figuring it out on a case-by-case basis. So, I don't know. That's a response to everybody who keeps pointing out Do You Remember Love is canon. It's like, okay, whatever. Right, next up, we have Michael Connor, who says, Isamu seems reckless, but isn't. Many of his wild actions are deliberate. Example, his wild piloting when he first pilots the YF-19. He carefully planned out his moves beforehand, which I assume is we're talking about this thing again. That is what he was doing. Well, sorry, with his hand on the tarmac. Sorry, I jumped again there. He is just having fun while he does this, but takes it quite seriously. As for womanizing, we have seen him with exactly one woman, the blonde, and when given the opportunity, he refused to be drawn into fighting over Moon. Sorry, they typed Moon. Even though their friend made it clear there was something in the past. It seems you are projecting onto Osamu without actually looking at what he has done. Oh, I'm sorry. When he's driving down the road on the motorcycle and just face down into the tanker thing going beside him, he was not being reckless. That was deliberate. He said, "Do you want to die today?" And then she said no, and he was like, "Sorry, I respect your boundaries and consent." That wasn't reckless. It was entirely deliberate. Yeah. Oh, and I'm sorry that the guy who just like instantly starts hitting on a woman in front of a entire military meeting about the design of jet fighters without consideration to what she deems as respectful to her isn't womanizing. He's entirely respectful. He's just like openly groping a woman in the middle of the road, because he respects women. Sorry, my next thought was fuck off, but I'm not going to tell you that. Just know it's in there.
I mean...
I respect you, though. Your boundaries are important to me. That wasn't instinctive. That was a thoughtful decision.
Yeah. It seems to be working for him.
Oh, yeah.
But
not saying...
That's the only thing I will say about that.
It's literally another Top Gun, right? He is racing the motorcycle next to a woman on a horse down the side of the road, which, by the way, kudos for the horse for keeping up with a motorcycle.
Wasn't that Top Gun or Hot Shots?
No, that was Top Gun. I don't know. Hot Shots is parodying Top Gun, so it might have happened in both. I thought you would say was that Top Gun or Days of Thunder, both Tom Cruise movies, but
yeah.
I mean, it's the same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Those were from episode 2. What do we got from episode 3? Shadow 4002 says, "Fun stuff as always. The commander of the test facility is fighting for both parties. He prefers Gould because he is the better man with the better fighter. Isamu is a straight-up genius. The 19 is meant for truly amazing pilots. The general did not care about the pilots because the winner has already been decided. The question of long-range fold missiles is answered in another series if memory serves. Reaction weapons work every time until it does not."
Again, it's tracks with everything we've seen so far.
All right, Ginny the Gobo says, I guess one or I can't tell, on Lessons side, the soundtrack is fucking awesome. My favorite track is Information High.
Yeah, that's the one that plays when they're panning over the city.
Oh, one of the more normal soundtrack items, yes.
Yeah.
Not like the concert soundtrack, which I thought nothing of. I think I actually, for some reason, talked about this during... I did a recording about Razafon this morning, and I was talking about how timeless the Razafon opening was, and then I used Macross 7 and Macross Plus as an example of I might be wrong, because, well, I originally said it's a matter of taste, but I think taste is the insulting way to say that. Preference is probably the better way. Macross Plus is full of electronica. That's the right genre, right? And if you're not into electronica, then obviously it's not going to be your favorite. Whereas I liked Macross 7 because that's my genre of music, like 80s hair metal sort of thing. And again, that's preference. Taste, I feel like, is the word you use when you're trying to insult somebody's specific opinion on a thing. I don't know, that might just be me, but the word itself comes off as a little bit more insulting in that way. When you say someone's preference, you are acknowledging that they have different preferences. When you're saying somebody's taste, you're saying you've got bad taste. Anyway, the long and short on that one for me was that maybe Razafon's opening isn't timeless. Maybe it's just timeless for me. Let's see, we had another version of episode 3 because one of them was blocked in Japan and the other one I had to put a vision blocker on for, so let's see, we got a lot from Ilios here. There already is a VF-17 flying around. You see off shots of them on flight lines. They look a lot like F-1117s, and you'll see a lot more of it in Macross 7, obviously. And again, is almost like Upper Brass wants the whole Supernova project to fail. Funny how the bird also looks a lot like the 19. The full drive has a minimum size. You'll see later with the fold booster on the 19 is almost the size of the whole VF itself. So sure, you could be a warhead on it, but yeah, not practical. Well, I mean, I'm going to skip back to another comment, except that reactionary weaponry is always useful until it's not. It doesn't matter what size it is, as long as you can just fold in and detonate. Gould knew he loaded in the live ammo at the end of the magazine so that he take some damage and then blame it on Yang in a Samu to get 19 program shut down. He was pretty confident he could dodge most of it. Yang has become friends with Samu at this point too. That's why he's there. But yes, Sharon needed to leech off Myung's emotions. 1994 was the 10th anniversary of Macross. This year is 40, and then 30th for Macross Plus and 7. Because that's how math works. Sorry, my confusion there is, who is Yang? Yang is the hacker guy, right?
Yeah, he's the lead designer
Newman?
for the one. Yeah, Yang Newman, the designer for the YF-19.
My problem is that we're just starting to watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes. So you have Yang Wen Lee, and that's really messing me. I was like, Yang? Where do I know Yang from? Because I don't think in the last whole run of Macross 7, we even brought up Newman once. So, the impactful character he became. Kano's work on Ghost in the Shell and Cowboy Bebop are better than this, says Michael Connor.
And Cowboy Bebop certainly has its own unique soundtrack, but I wouldn't put it in the same category because it's different styles. So Cowboy Bebop is very much trying to evoke a very specific style, right? Kind of Western and sort of out there kind of thing, where Plus is very experimental. So I love the Cowboy Bebop soundtrack. I mean, Tank is it's one of those iconic introductory music songs, right? Both East and West, So yeah,
I mean,
she's
it makes
done a
top 10
fantastic job.
soundtracks every time. I mean, top 10 openings.
Yeah. So yeah.
All right, and then moving on to episode 4. 455 Ryu says the YF-21 versus X9 and the Macross Plus movie is super cool.
It is a good fight, and then also it becomes the redemption equals death sequence for Gould, right? Once he realizes what he has done, realizes that he doesn't want to be in the middle of the relationship between Myung and his, now newly restored best friend. He says, well, I only have one thing to do, kill this machine. And he does.
I was just disappointed because we made the AI controlled drone the bad guy, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait for more AI controlled drones in the future. Oh no, you've ruined public opinion on this one. All right, Elios has 2 different comments here I'm going to combine together. I'll add Macross Plus was very experimental and didn't spoon feed things. It was Shoji Kanamori trying things and hoping the viewers were smart enough to pick up on it. Macross Plus shows real people that everyone has flaws, no one is perfect. Everyone has things that likable and unlikable. The move expands the concert bits and a bit less on the people, more the VF porn. I think we all understand what was meant there. I know.
I think he meant the movie.
I know. I was saying, I think we all understand what was meant there. I'm just reading what it says. Blame Google for this.
Yeah.
The other half, though, that you responded to, by the way, so you already know this one. Best song in the show here, right at the start. Information high. The fold booster has more than one use. They needed to ditch it here to hide in the trash in an uncontrolled re-entry. The dogfight and concert scene here was world-changing for anime first use computer graphics. Sharon is Tsunandre turned up to 11 and a bit murdery. Tsunandre, I mean, you said the same thing twice. But her mind control via music became known as the Sharon Apple incident and leads to the ideas of Macross 7 and later. That's not the end of the comment, by the way, but it's just occurring to me. Sharon Apple's mind control shit led to Sound Force? Huh. The shit that I didn't like in Macross Plus led to the shit that you didn't like in Macross 7. That is funny.
I don't think there is. I mean, he's making a connection there. I don't know if there is, in fact.
No. The viewer's always right. Anyway, until I can't say that because obviously I just bitched at somebody a little while ago. So I mean, let's see. The mind control is 100% from the music, not anything else. So yeah, Isamu and Myung knew that wasn't really Gould and covered it up because they were his friends. Insane. Sorry, sometimes Japanese names I just think are words. Insane shots of the two aircraft here. He didn't block it out. He disassociated it happens and likely part of the Centrati fight reflex. Again, this leads to the ideas that follow in Macross 7 and later, and in 7 you find out why this worked. Spoilers, so... Okay, good, they didn't say it. YF-19 looks amazing in Gerwalk. I have my model of it displayed as Gerwalk. Sharon knows everything Myung ever knew or felt because they used Myung's emotions to build Sharon's music. That music was based on Myung's feelings and life experiences, something the AI could never have had. Gould rammed the X-9 since it was too fast to hit with missiles or guns. But yes, this establishes that in the Macross world, a song can be more than just a song. Cue Firebomber. Off screen, this is all covered up. The YF-19 is the winner by default because the 21 was destroyed. Gould died from the G-forces. They cover that in a movie version. I don't remember that. I just saw the same thing. The 21 was locked on his last commands. The 21 is refined down to the VF-22 with conventional controls, which I guess is what we saw during Nightmare Invasion in Macross 7 already.
Yeah.
By the way, just to cover that real quick, because that covered something, RYO also says that there is no CGI used in this. It's all hand-drawn. To, Ilios's comment about the computer graphics that are used during the concert.
Which is why I basically, when I commented earlier, I was covering both. I remember that comment and said, yes, that is true. When it comes to most of it is hand drawn and extremely, it turned out to be very expensive. And this is when Macross Plus wasn't really a success in spite of everything. But in the concert, there were both aspects that were like the whole symbol when Sharon Apple symbol with the chainsaw, that's CGI. That's clearly CGI. And then other CGI, it's like commercials and stuff like that. But it's kept to a minimum, right? And it's meant to be things that are supposed to be computers, right? Oh, were you seeing something on the screen that's supposed to be like a computer? We did it CGI. Things that are not, they're supposed to be other things, and it's hand drawn.
No opinion. I just thought it was funny to this one commenter who said, hey, the computer graphics were amazing. Hey, there's no computer graphics in this show. It's all hand drawn. Two people who did not respond to one another are being mentioned together in a comment.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all of our comments.
Quite a bit.
Was there anything you wanted to bring up before we started watching this first episode?
No, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna probably talk about that while we watch it. But I am looking forward to it. I really like Frontier, and I'm thinking, I want to see what your reaction, especially to this first episode. But I think this is gonna be clinger. Either you're gonna really like it, or you're gonna
I want to clarify something that I've said in the past. That thing that I said I hated.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using hate in a flippant term here. I don't, obviously, if I really hated something, I would have a more visceral reaction. There's things in my life that I hate. I don't talk about in the same way. I just using hate in the art that I mentioned back in Macross Zero. So way back when I was looking for pictures from Sarah during episodes of Macross Zero to use in the thumbnails. I specifically mentioned that I'd come across Macross Frontier pictures of it, so I obviously know that that's a thing that's going to happen at some point. And I didn't like the difference between how she looked in Zero and this, and I said I hate that. And I'm using that in the flippant term of my preference is for Zero, not whatever I saw in this picture. I'm not going to be like, fuck the show, I hate this goddamn show, because I got influenced by a thing back in Macross Zero. So anybody who's heard me say that before and coming into this like, oh, he's going to fucking hate the show, he's talked about it already. No, I'm letting you know that was just flippancy. It's not prejudgment.
Yeah. Also, this was a show because I mentioned before, I skipped 7 because what I saw about 7 was like, and 7 didn't prove me wrong, at least to me anyway. So I jumped directly to Frontier. It was like, oh, wow. And it really brought back my love of Macross. But then again, like you said, preference.
Well, also,
So
oddly, you didn't go back to Macross 7. So, I don't know. If I fell in love with a series, I'd go try to consume all of it. Like, you still skipped the thing that you were, like, hesitant on. So no matter how much you loved Frontier, didn't like it that much to try and give anything else a shot. Alright, well, I say let's go ahead and hop on into it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
That was Entrati, by the way.
Wait, what? Is that implying that we've left the galaxy?
No. It's the Sagittarius arm of the galaxy.
No, the Sagittarius arm of the Virgo cluster. The Virgo cluster is part of the local galaxy group. That shit made of rocks?
No.
There was a no, so it was that one right there. Underneath everything.
This is GFS 108. Launch to Galaxy Starliner. Reply to me. Frontier Control. GFS 108.
Are we in another fleet? Look, yeah, there we got a Macross ship back there. Galactic Ferry. It kind of looks like the ship that was attached to the Macross 7. The shitty one. Rice King only reminded me how hungry I am.
That makes 2 of us.
The Frontier concert? So it was on the little advertisement I was going by. Cheryl's at Frontier concert thing. Hey, I'm back.
But Roy wasn't there. It's interesting. Roy wasn't in that capture. That's from the Do You Remember Love, not from sort of.
Hey, Eden. He's not that far from Earth. That was M Galaxy.
That's another fleet.
It's also 12 years after Macross 7. Mishobi Academy High.
Looks familiar.
Good to know that hover boards still make a comeback.
For those cowboy bebop.
Okay, we're all doing the Osamu thing, I guess. No matter how far in the future we get, paper airplanes are still a thing. So I'm assuming that was about to say concert and Frontier. So is this ship called Frontier?
Yes. The Frontier Fleet.
Is that our Gruvava replacement?
No, it's their version of cell phones.
Sorry, does she have hair control? What was that? It's Bayonetta. This is giving me early 2000s Gonzo animation vibes. It's ironic because the last series I think was Gonzo.
Yeah.
I just get Tower of God vibes from this animation style, which is one of my favorite shows. Dolphins in space. Also, I guess Gainax must have had a hand in this because of the boob shots.
It's a thing in this particular series, yes.
Name, there we go. Glad I watched Zero first. You better do your ancestors proud. Also, I just appreciate I pulled out the Gainax reference. And she goes, "Have you forgotten who I am?" And I'm just thinking, in my head, Gurren Lagann, just who the hell do you think we are? Yes, duck the paper airplane.
Oh, it's a big one.
Well, it's made of a poster, I get it, but they're literally wearing armor, it looks like. I don't know.
Doesn't the two things that come out of the high school's roof remind you of something?
Yeah, and obviously it's the Macross arms thing. I was thinking in my head,
cannons.
yeah, the things that get destroyed 4 or 5 times. But I was just thinking to myself, what if we traded, jets for these things? I don't know how that makes you think of a kabuki actor.
No, it said that he used to be a kabuki actor.
Oh, okay. So I got lost in my own comment. What's the point of having this thing way up here?
There's a point.
We couldn't even hear it until we got close enough, which implies that nobody can hear it. Well, thank you, opening, for telling me that this is going to be an emotional, character-driven show in the first lyric. Who are you going to kiss? I mean, I like it so far. It's for one, it's building off of like the enjoyment I've had of Macross so far. But the art style is something that I'm more familiar with than, say, previous art styles.
It's a more modern anime, definitely.
Well, the fact it seems to just be a sci-fi idol anime is something I'm not unaccustomed to in recent years as well. Oh, that guy might be my guy. The guy with the 5 o'clock shadow screaming into the space. It's been my kind of guy so far. I'm sorry, you said something about no Centrati?
Oh, I didn't say there were no Centrati.
You said something about no Centrati, like right at the very start.
No. That when they say deculture, that was Centrati language.
Oh, I didn't even see the word deculture come up. I might have been paying attention.
In fact, we already met.
This is the first viewing. This is the first viewing, so I'm paying attention a lot to the aesthetics. So sometimes I might miss a word. Also, I'm trying to read posters and shit in the background.
Yeah, we already met 2 Centrati characters. Well, Centrati.
Can't wait till you tell me Cheryl is a half Centrati now.
やだ、違うわよ、私。これは失礼。あなたの後ろ姿があまりにも魅力的だったもので。
Okay, we need to paint your hair blue and call you Kun. Sorry, it's Khun. That's another character name. I realized I might have been using a different Kun than people have been thinking.
Yeah.
Oh, now the danger of having to relearn a bunch of characters' names. So he's ashamed of his kabuki background?
Kind of.
Did she know them?
No.
She looked like she was trying to look at them from over the people's shoulders. Oh, never mind. She's just looking at them.
あれはオープニングのアクロバット飛行をする学生たちです。学生？私のライブスタッフにアマチュアのバイトを入れたの。
Okay, so she's pretentious.
彼らは我が船団でも随一のレベルを誇る学園の邪魔しないよう控えて飛ぶように言っておいて。もっともファンには私以外目に入らないでしょうけど。
Well, it looks like the Nami bloodline has fallen. Mao, what did you get up to, by the way? Songstress of the what? It's Frontier. Never mind. Look, it's Planet Lux. Oh, wait. Not even New San Francisco, just San Francisco.
Yeah.
Hey! Our wandering soda bots are back. I was about to say, is that just a pollution bot? Okay, I guess the 3 stars are just part of the logo. I thought that might have been like rank insignias or something, but everything has 3 stars on it.
It's from the school.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's supposed to be part of the logo. Because even the machine had 3 stars. I thought it was going to be like, yo, your first year, second year, third year, that sort of thing.
この程度の仕事でさ。とにかくこれはリーダーである俺の決定。反論は受け付けないぜ。わかんなくなっちゃった。むくれてるとせっかくの美人が台無しだぜ。
In case anybody in the audience wonders why I'm talking over so much, that I'm going to rewatch it again and take notes. Don't worry, I'm not missing stuff. I like the Kabuki guy best amongst these 3 guys, by the way. Oh, he just has that serious character look that I appreciate. And attitude. But apparently, as far as I know, you can fly through it still. I hope there's not a building that goes through the top of the sky.
この X ギアも一応軍と同一規格ですけどね。卒業したら軍人になるつもりなんです
That would
が
only make sense if we're still using like the mind interface stuff.
Well,
VF171, by the way, that said, we've really come a long way in
じゃないですか。
12 years.
決められたコースか。それもゾッとしないな。
No, I mean the idea that the concept is the same, flying a Valkyrie as flying these things. That would be some sort of mind-body interface to make it as equal as, I feel like. So maybe a VF22 instead of a VF21?
言いたくないんだ。
well,
We already
Okay,
covered that Max's was a little bit more redundant than the VF21. That's why I'm saying more of a VF22.
it's a bit of a
New United Nations spacey. Yeah.
応答してください。
Oh, I would not like to be in the Reamer squad. That'd be as bung as the pink whatevers. I can't remember anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, was that implying that it was already a battle, or was that what the eye thing was from?
急がなきゃ、急がなきゃ。
I think it implied that the Valkyrie got destroyed. That's what.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if the eye thing was from wreckage.
No.
やっちゃった。
By the way, time to seduce somebody by super wet.
もう、びしょびしょ。
Be shonen.
綺麗。
なんだお前。
Huh. Okay, it's coming from there because they're not from. Okay, I got it.
アステロイドベルトに到達。
I was confused. I was like, we saw everything coming from the asteroids before, so those must be enemies from the asteroids.
20 秒
No?
ジャミング
EPM 電磁妨害発生。
Oh, they used drones.
Yeah, which I'm happy about. As I just said about the X9 or whatever it was. The Ghost.
もうコンサート行けなくなるかって。でもびっくりした。
I mean, don't worry, I'm pretty sure the concert's about to get interrupted by something.
誰が女だ。いや、なんでもない。
道に迷っちゃって。
But when does the guy with the guitar show
あ
up?
るかなって。
なんとかと煙は高いところに登るって。
He's referring to the proverb idiots make. I didn't catch it. Is that something that happens throughout the show, or is this just the subtitle thing that we got?
I think this is the subtitle we got here.
I appreciate it, by the way. I just wish it was a little bit longer on screen.
ね、案内してくれて。
お前が勝手についてきただけだ。
そうだ。今度お礼するね。私ニャンニャンでバイトしてるから来て。
My hair color is literally out coloring her outfit.
ニャンニャンニャンニャンニーハオニャン。ゴージャスデリシャスデカルチャー。って CM 知らない？
Are we allowed to use that word?
What, they called you?
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a swear word in... Something of a swear word in Centrati?
40 years ago,
But I
it meant
guess-
sex.
Yeah. They make culture, not deculture.
I guess it means not sex. Literally. What a weird girl. I don't know, I like her
Yeah.
enthusiasm. No, he said, what a weird girl. I'm just repeating. I like her enthusiasm. That's like Battle 7 if it doesn't connect it to anything. So our standard now is the 171. This is definitely different.
I mean, it's like...
Wow,
it's the,
that's
do
good.
you
I
remember...
appreciate that. We're in space. Use every side of the ship.
It's a do you remember love launch sequence, basically. What they used to...
Well, they used it more for Diamond Squad in
as well,
7.
Yeah.
That's our word. That's not your word. Also, what does it mean to deculture?
私の歌を聴け。
遅れてるぞラッキー。
Also, the oddity, I guess, of after Firebomber being the #1 group in the Galaxy Network for so long, somebody else screaming out, "Listen to my song," it would kind of feel like stealing. Kind of the, what's that, the crotchless military uniform thing was a weird, but I guess we're going hard in a different direction now. It's like Pain, or that character called Pain. Oh, now we're back to this outfit.
I mean, they're using. If you remember, Love, they had the holographic costumes. That's what they're using here.
She's singing
That's
into a flute?
Well,
feels like that Star Trek episode where one of them's gonna wreck into the other ones. I'm still not sure what we're fighting. Yeah, so the outfit was holographic. Make it look like it's part of the show, you idiot. We didn't fuck up. This was intentional.
yeah,
Also, that fucking outfit, man. Wow.
yeah.
I haven't seen something like that since My Dress Up Darling.
I mean, it's leaning on the idol, aspect of things.
I'm not actually being affected in the video. This is for the show.
Yeah.
Not Golf 7. President.
Yeah.
Amelia regarded herself as president once, so...
Oh, this is a much bigger fleet with many more citizens.
That's a familiar looking guy.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know him or not. I'm just saying it's a familiar look to an anime person.
Yeah.
Oh, so we expected them. It's not my favorite genre of music, but I think it's better than everything that's not been Macross 7 so far. She said she was sick today. Well, that's weird. That's the logo I get when I open OBS. All my audio plugins launch. Oh, it took me this long to recognize that's the guy who was screaming in the opening that I said would probably be my guy. Victor, was it? Oh, there was some English words in that I saw. So what, daughter? It's finally time for what? I don't.
Theta rule.
Yeah, I know. Don't tell me if you know. I just mean, if I don't voice the question, then nobody will know I'm thinking the question.
Look, that she's wearing a complete suit. So even the fact that It was supposed to be like a small thing. It was all.
Oh, I was about to say that she
holographic.
costume changed real quick, so I wasn't even thinking
Yeah.
that it was a whole
Yeah.
thing.
何が起こってやがる
Space tadpoles, sir. We're fighting space tadpoles. First impression of the villains? Not in love with the CGI nature.
They do use a
Small
lot
Swaggins
of.
back. Yeah, I mean, I don't care about the different looking airplanes or, you know,
Yeah.
jets and whatnot. But the organic nature of the CGI of the bad guys just doesn't mesh well. It feels out of time. Or of its time, which isn't good.
It's certainly alien. I do like that.
I mean, obviously it's either something new or the evil. What the hell is... Spaghettians or whatever the hell they're called are gonna love this. That guy ejected. $171's like incredibly bulky.
No, that's an extra armor pack. And that's not a 171. That's a something else.
When they launched, they all had 171 on them.
No, that's the blue ones, but this one is not a 171.
That was a different... What?
It's a mecha.
No. The method of change.
Yeah.
They're like using electromagnetism to pull their parts into place, which is super sci-fi. I'm just not sure that I would want it. Too many moving parts makes it too easy for things to fail. Okay, there's species 8472 from Star Trek. By the way, that ship, the front of it looked exactly like Legends of the Galactic Hero ships.
Yeah.
なんてやつらだ街を守るぞ言われなくたって
You guys should have been heading to the bunkers.
最終防衛ライン突破されました
アイランド1に取りつかれます
シールド展開
What's the point of the shit on your eyes?
I don't know.
Kind of looks like that footballer thing to protect eye glare. I know this is dangerous, but my first thought is they didn't learn anything from Docker. Dude's firing right at the ship to hit this thing. So space bugs are our new thing. There we go. I like that. That was good. The self-sealing thing, I mean.
なんなんだよこれは待てよまだ残ってるのがいるだろうあんたらだけとっとと逃げる気か
ここからはプロの仕事よアマチュアは下がりなさい
だとみんなあんたを見たくてここに来たんだ自分だけ逃げるのかおおそれでもプロかよ
ちょっと待ちなさいバカな子
You know, it occurs to me while watching, it's only been like 40 years 50 years maybe?
Yeah.
Since Macross Zero?
Uh huh.
Mal was only like 14, 15. She'd only be like 69 years nice. Old right now. She could still be alive. In which case, somebody needs to have a word with her about her kid. It's just weird that they're organic, but they're just shooting out of their hands. Was it a 25? I would have guessed 11. I had no fucking idea. This is also the anti-advancement thing. Like the 171's failed, but a 25 is pulling weight. So that's what they meant by it's the same thing as the military model. Their ejection suits are basically flight suits. I guess that guy wasn't as important as I thought he was.
Well, I can say this is not Macross 7.
I just mean that we were kind of following that guy for like the whole episode, and now he's dead. So that was a pretty good way to like show the threat. Can you even pilot that thing still? I thought that guy got ripped out of the control system.
No, he jumped off.
Yeah, because the thing was damaged. It's good to know that the non-military models can still just plug and play. I'm also pretty sure that said architect standby. Yak?
The culture, Jack the Culture Edition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what was the hell's yak mean? Only yaks I know are animals. Well, I'm excited. I want to see more. This I don't know, maybe it's an element of how bright and colorful and smooth the art feels, even though the obvious CGI thing that I mentioned before, not a fan of.
Yeah.
It just feels fun. Like I don't even the guy getting crushed and the blood spilling all over the ground, it's like that still feels like a fun scene. It's enjoyable to watch. Although I'm still confused with who the enemy is. My guess is going to be based on past information that it's going to be something new, because I always like throwing something new every time, or it's just the evil. The only reason I would think it's not the evil is that the Macross 7 blatantly said there was only ever 7 evil made. Unless it's that one that got remade and flew off at the end of the movie and we never covered. And it had kids. Yeah, that guy. He seems the most Roy of everybody. Still don't know his connection to the girl, though. I'm gonna guess child. Although it doesn't really make sense what he said in that moment. Maybe stepdad, or like she is an orphan and he's like watching over her.
All those questions are.
Oh, yeah. I'm not asking you to answer me. If I don't state the questions, then people 2007, huh?
Yep.
If I don't state the questions, people will know I'm having them. Oh, really, real good to have subtitles here. So we're gonna do another mid-May scene then. She's falling through the
Among other
air. Its hands is reaching out. Obviously, the thing is going to catch her. So the only question there is, do we do a full min-may, where we open the cockpit, drop her in on top of us, and then continue to do whatever we're doing? That would be a full min-may. Otherwise,
Yes.
just catching her in her hand. What other Macross did that? Macross Plus. Mune gets caught in the hand and they keep flying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a half min-may. I guess technically a full min-may would be catching her, putting her in the cockpit, then getting your ass blown
Yeah.
off, and then having your cockpit attached to the dick of another Gerwalk. That would be a
Chad,
full min-may.
Chad, now we know that the measurement of Frontier is in min-mays. You get half min-mays, you get full min-mays, but we get min-mays and a half. We're
Literally
about to work
every
on it.
Macross, the measurement has been to a min-may, except for Zero, wherein min-may was a child, I guess. But, SDF Macross, the measure has always been to min-may. As Macross Plus, we karaoke to min-may. Macross 7, we, again, measure everything to min-may thanks to Chiba. But before that, it was just a movie that some people had referenced. So, yes, everything is measured to min-may.
Yeah.
I guess this is just the measure of how long from the Beatles can you reference the Beatles, right?
Yes.
So far, 40 years is still going. I don't know. There's been no reference to Min-May yet, but I anticipate it's going to come at some point. She is the proto-culture of idol culture, right?
In this universe, yes.
Well, because, when? Like, 90s? No. 2009. So, 2007 is when... No, I don't know. I don't know when idol culture started. I was going to make a guess about when idol culture starts in Macross, but the fact that we have a whole contest to see who's, the best idol on the ship kind of implies it was a thing before, but obviously not as important. Because we have a Hollywood actress on board, which implies that still Hollywood rules the social scene, but I guess when the destruction of Hollywood then implies that whatever's left, i.e., the culture aboard the Macross takes over the culture to become. So Min-May's rise to stardom is the rise of idol culture in the universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm asking you, but I'm not actually asking you. I'm just voicing it out loud. My thought here is that across Frontier, the fleet, not the show, is just the extension of the Macross fleets in the same way that the Macross fleets were an extension to the Mega Road. We're just evolving what we're doing. Obviously, I said the Virgo supercluster was a group of galaxies in the known universe, but obviously they showed that they were heading towards the center with a map of Earth and Eden being shown. So I guess that's the callback to Plus there. So obviously we're in some sort of Virgo cluster within the galaxy, not the Virgo supercluster. I just thought the evolution of travel was going to be, okay, we've done this, now we've explored the galaxy, now let's explore the universe. But I guess you wouldn't want to do that because we've already made the implication that the Proto-Devlins have left the galaxy. So if we leave our own galaxy, we have to then imply that we might encounter the Proto-Devlins again one day, and you don't know the Proto-Devlins, or didn't before Macross 7, which implies that they're not going to be here. And you wouldn't obviously have then known the evil, because you didn't respond to the evil that way when that reveal was, so that couldn't be the evil. Plus, again, there's only 7 evil. Cheryl Name is a thing. So, there we go. I can draw a big old gold line from 0 all the way down. And that has to imply that Mao survives. Because all that family is on one fucking island. And there was only 2 family members, we know that. Unless Sarah came back. Unless Sarah time traveled to the future in Birdman and had a son, or daughter, rather. Well, it has to be a son, right? Because the name has to travel, unless they're forward-thinking enough to think that a woman would keep her own name even in marriage. Unless they had kids out of wedlock. But would a show want to imply? It's an adult show, so... Yeah, so maybe Sarah comes... Sorry, you're smiling and says, "Oh man, I didn't think you'd guess that," or "What a fucking stupid idea." So the
I
two
am
extremes.
intrigued. This is me, my intrigued face. Yes, that's what it is.
Well, because it's not like Macross Plus. I know we just read a bunch of comments about Macross Plus, where Macross Plus left me like, I don't like this. This has me excited. Like tomorrow, we're going to record 2 more episodes, right? And I'm excited to get there. I'm excited to rewatch, take notes, put people's faces on a board. I want to connect stuff so I can then like oh, okay, I get it. These two, and then like that. This is school. This is the Witch from Mercury of Gundam, where people were upset that it had a school in it, and all these people were school kids. But then again, we have not school students, because Cheryl was upset that you hired school students to do her backup acrobatics, or aeronautics? I don't know what the word she used was.
Yeah. I mean, the air show, basically.
Yeah. And the fact that the non-military things can plug into a Valkyrie has to be a massive oversight on military programming, right?
No. I would go back to the fact that the school looks like the SCF one.
Just because your architecture looks like it's like
The thing is
it a military academy? Did I miss that?
It is kind of a military academy. It's a military prep school, basically.
Okay, I remember I read the thing popping up on the top. By the way, I hope that is the thing and the ones that we keep going, because I like that it's explaining little bits. Kind of like the narrator from Robotech, if you think about it.
Yeah.
I'm of that stupidity level where it does help me out a little bit.
Yeah.
But if it said it was like a military academy or something, then I guess that would... However, that even then, though, that's on the level of Hikaru jumping into a VF1 and just being able to start it up. It's like you'd think your probably multi-million-dollar hardware would have a harder time to be accessed by the random passerby.
The thing is that people think there are no keys in Humvees. When it comes to military hardware, they don't have keys. They may have certain functions, might have passcodes, but they don't have keys. Like you could literally jump in an F-16 and fly it if you know how to fly. Let's see, most people don't know what to do with an F-16, therefore it's safe. And of course, the military police would ground you to the ground and arrest you and probably charge you.
They indicated though that there was a difference between the military model and the model that they were using to.
Yeah, but it was compatible. It was compatible.
Well, obviously it was compatible, but by the end of the episode, when the dude jumps into it, also,
he said literally, it's the same
to
one.
Your comment that if you could just jump into a F-16 and pilot it if you knew how to do it, and the dude just instantly knew how to pilot a VF-25, which I guess you're going to point out to me that he took Kabuki Theater as a pilot. He was Kabukiing piloting shit around, and it gave him knowledge.
That's a kind of... Okay, I'm not going to go into that.
There. I guess obviously what you're going to indicate to me is that it's a military academy where they're learning to be pilots, and that's where he's learned to be a pilot. Or he used to be part of the circus, which would not be so stupid a thought in Macross.
No.
It's your guy. Hey, at least I came back for a little bit. Every time I get to see Britai, like I thought Britai was such an amazing character. And unfortunately for me, the last 2 times we've seen him, it's been based on Do You Remember Love? Not a bad movie, not my favorite version of Britai.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to have to... Otherwise, I'm going to be rambling on for the next, half an hour if you let me, so I'm just probably going to bring this back around to I'm going to watch it again, I'm going to take notes. I'll have a note section next time. There's too much I'm excited to see. I'm happy that this turned out to be not Macross Plus again, which upsetting notion to a lot of people, but there wasn't a rape scene at the start. All the bare minimum it had to pull off. It pulled it off.
Yeah.
And I have questions, and you know that I'm a big fan of having questions, and Macross 7 spotted me with questions, but this one just kind of threw it out from the get-go. Who are the bad guys? I actually thought it was going to be robots, because we first see the bad guys in the field, and it looked like the robotic eye, which turned out, I guess, to be the drones. And that must have been a drone that we saw destroyed at the first thing, but I thought it was going to be ancient technology or something, a reawakening, and then we saw was the eye, kind of like Birdman almost, but more technological looking, less organic than Birdman.
Again,
we see
a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm just voicing it to you in lieu of the audience. That we see the eye moving around, and then we saw the broken plane, and I thought, oh, maybe this is a representational thing, and they're about to discover this ancient broken down thing. But then we see the drones. I was like, oh, that's obviously the eye of the drone that I saw before. So, question, sorry. Do you have any final thoughts as a reviewer?
I
Not
always
a reviewer, but a reviewer.
Like I said, it's one of my favorites. In fact, eventually I will probably show you the AMV that I made for it, but that has to wait because it has spoilers. Not for the whole show, but
Yeah, just
things that happen.
Let me know whenever it comes up and it's viewable. We'll view it.
Yeah, and I'll show it. So that's a thing. And yeah, I'm glad you liked it. It's oh wow, I like something, and somebody who's a friend likes it. So
I guess my lingering question though is you implied that you like this more than STF Macross?
I see it as a reformulation of Macross. Like I mentioned earlier, the pattern is for them to try to do what they've done before, but better.
Yeah, sure, like Mobile Suit Gundam to Gundam Seed.
Yeah, so in a way, I do like it more, but it also has its own issues, which,
Okay, I thought you were saying that it was your favorite, so I'm like, if this is your favorite, why is Hikaru your guy and not one of somebody from this show?
Hikaru's my guy because it's the guy I know first, right? Nostalgia.
Okay.
Right? So that's a character I identify strongly because I identify the longest. Like somebody in Gundam chooses Char instead of Char clones because they saw Gundam first. But if you saw something, if you were to watch first Gundam Wing, you would pick that guy.
Oh, no, I mean, I like Zex more than I like Char.
Yeah,
but I would also accept if somebody said Char that we're basically picking the same guy. I think it's different when you say Char clones versus... Like, I don't think... I have likened a lot of people in these shows to Hikaru, but I don't think
Amuro?
I think a lot of people are like Hikaru, but I wouldn't say anyone's a Hikaru clone, right?
Yeah.
So your choice of Hikaru is still individually Hikaru. There's no Char. Well, I don't know. I've said a lot about Roy, Kinryu. There's been others I can't remember off the top of my head. But the idea that there's Roy clones, in that people have been given characterizations of Roy, but without anything of their own, that sort of thing. So I don't know.
Yep.
All right. Well, again, I'll ramble on forever otherwise. So once again, I have been Theta. This has been Lessons. We've been Stoneface Reactions, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?